Welcome to a market recap. Um, Calling it a market recap and not a trade recap because we didn't take a trade today. I just kind of did like a mock trade, um, which is kind of like putting like a fake trade. And the reason why I did that is because I'm not trading today, tomorrow, because elections, right? We're on election week. Price isn't going to be so favorable. Today, though, it was. But regardless, I just want to build good habits. So I'm not trading today. I'm not trading tomorrow, election day. Um, and maybe I'll trade Wednesday, if price looks favorable. So, um, let's get into it. You could have taken a trade today on both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. Nasdaq being more favorable, and I'll explain why in just a second. So, starting off on our 4-hour confluences, we have these 4-hour highs right here, 4-hour lows, and 4-hour lows right here. This is also could be considered a 4-hour high. However, I just marked it as a 1-hour high because it's much clearer on the 1 hour high, 1-hour low. After marking our confluences, we scale down to the 5-minute, and we wait for a sweep of liquidity there, buy side or sell side. In this case, we got it on the sell side, and after getting the sweep of liquidity within 5 minutes of market open, we got the big leg up. At that point, what are we waiting for? A retracement, right, of some sort to the downside on the 5-minute, of course, which we got at 9:50. I'll explain why I marked this 5-minute fair value in just a second. So let me get rid of this real quick. So 9:50 was around right here. This big down candle, right? At this point, it was the open or it was the close of a new candle, right? Because 9:35, 9:40, 9:45, 9:50, right? So 9:50 candles closing, close down here, new candle opens. What are we waiting for? Breaker structure. Okay, so we got this huge down candle that sweeps liquidity. At this point, this is considered the order block, right? And what I would say, we have a bunch of fair value gaps. However, it didn't come all the way down here with an equilibrium, as you can see. Why is that? Because we broke structure, right? This is now considered an order block, so therefore we can only just wait for it tap into the order block and then a break of structure, right? Which we did. Tap into the order block since it's hecka huge. We didn't know exactly where it was going to. So all we were waiting for was just a break of structure to the upside, which we got right here with this candle. You could have entered the trade right here. And then since it's super long, you don't want to put your stop all the way down here, right? Because the risk to reward just made no freaking sense, right? So we see this fair value gap right here again. It didn't come all the way down here. It didn't even tap into this. So, like, look at this. It got completely, like, disregarded. So we scale out, and we see this huge 5-minute fair value gap, right? Which looks like it completely respected. So, therefore, we can see that this is now a protected low. So I put my stops right underneath this fair value gap. Because now if price comes all the way down, my trade idea is just completely invalidated. And therefore, I'm not, I'd say I'm completely wrong in the market. However, we got a break structure, right? And depending how many contracts you have, you could have taken profits at the 1-to-1, which is like right here. And then brought stops to break even, or you could have just took them at these highs because again, this is considered like low resistance liquidity. Or you could have aimed for right here, which is what I would have been like originally aimed for. As you can see, it didn't really come out. It just kind of got stagnant. At 10:30, I would have exited all my trades because at 10:30, like after that, I don't usually trade. and price tends to just get choppy, as you can see, and then reverse completely. I don't doubt it'll later come and take out these highs, but I don't want to be like it looks like it's doing right now. I don't want to be in a trade for too long, right? It was, but you can see it was super choppy price action. Um, but you can kind of see that it's sort of respecting these order blocks. Um, Personally, right here, I don't know. Even though it came up here, I know like myself, I probably would have not liked how this trade would have been looking like right here, just because all this like choppiness a bit. I don't know. I would have personally traded on the Nasdaq just because Nasdaq was just much cleaner, and we can go over that now since we just covered. And my Nasdaq trade would have hit if I took it right, and it looks like we're going for these highs. Yeah, because it's all low resistance liquidity. Um. Anyways, so start with our high time frame confluences. 4 hour lows, 4 hour highs, 4 hour lows. Let's get into the 1 hour highs, 1 hour highs. Let's get onto the 5 minute. Got a sweep of liquidity. Got this up candle. During macro time, it's a no news Monday. So macro times are important when there's no news. Um, so we got a retracement within the macro time, which is perfect. Again, also at 9:50, which is beautiful because S&P and Nasdaq were kind of in sync, or actually in sync. So it makes it much smoother price action. Look at Nasdaq. Look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq was just on the rise, bro. On the rise. So Nasdaq was a bit of a different situation. Because even though we had this huge order block, we didn't really break structure. For me to be considered a break of structure, we have to close above the wick, which we didn't till later on, right? So we we had this huge 5 minute fair value gap right here, and we also had this 1 minute fair value gap, which looks like we completely respected, right? We tapped into the 5 minute fair value gap, we tapped into the 1 minute fair value gap, and that's just extra like confluences, right? Um, and they're kind of like protections, they're kind of like barriers for price. So it was looking like it was holding. So at this point, what was I just waiting for? A break of structure, right? Even though we weren't within equilibrium, the equilibrium for value started right here because of how price was rejecting off these levels. I really wasn't um thinking that price was going to come all the way down here. Once we get that break of structure, you can tell we're completely going bullish. So we got a break of structure within this candle right here. I would have entered off of this candle. My stops would have been with underneath these 1 hour, 1 minute fair value gap, because that's where my trade idea would have been invalidated since we're rejecting off these fair value gaps perfectly. And then my take profit would have been these 1 hour highs, right? I would have taken profit at these highs, these highs, and these highs or these highs, and then final TP up here. Um, and it would have hit. Obviously, the risk reward was going to be kind of not so good, just because we got these huge legs. It wasn't just like kind of like chop, like not chop, but like bullish, bearish candles going down, so it makes it kind of harder to take trades like this. Um, so Um, yeah. So this is where I would have taken my trade. As you can see, like would have been up, would have been a little bit of drawdown, and then completely back up. Um, but Nasdaq was a much smoother ride compared to S&P 500, which didn't even fully TP. But convinced they will, just because it's respecting these order blocks like this, rejecting, pushing up more, rejecting, pushing up more. So if it's respecting these, and we also got to break a structure, it's respecting these. These are also order blocks, within the upwards candle. So if it's respecting these, that means we do have bullish order flow, and it looks like we're disrespecting it. Unless we close within it. Oh, we got a gap. It's for surely gonna come back. Yeah, I told you. um, but yeah. With that being said, guys, that's what I would have traded if I if I traded today. I just chose not to. My discipline. Why? Because again, election week. Election day is tomorrow. Price action is kind of choppy. The risk to rewards were kind of not so good today. If you would have taken a trade. Um. However, that's just me. If you're unfunded, you shouldn't trade tomorrow, like me. Because price doesn't really tend to cooperate. Today was just one of those special occasions again, but I just I don't know. I'm not trading. Just peace of mind. Just avoid it. You know, because again, we're in this for the long run. Um, and like even though it was kind of a good setup, just keep in mind that there's gonna be better setups later on. This isn't gonna be the last trade you'll take. It's not gonna be the last time Price is gonna deliver. Price is probably gonna deliver even better after elections. So, for even better rewards. So, just a thing to keep in mind if you're hesitant and if you're really trying to like trade tomorrow, especially tomorrow when it's literally election day. You shouldn't even trade at all. Um, yeah. With that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in on the market recap. Um, if Price gives us something tomorrow for me to cover, I'll cover it. Because regardless, I'm not gonna take it. um, Other than that, if I take a trade on Wednesday, I'll do a trade recap on that. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and peace.